Hey guys, how you all doing? The Wrestling Guy back here today. Not joined by the chairman of the board. That wasn't what I had in mind. We're meant to be doing a Christmas special today. That's kind of messed things up.
Greetings, Wrestling Guy. I am the chairman of Wrestling Past, and I've come here today in the traditional Christmas Carol kind of tradition to go through wrestling as it's been happening in the past. Ooh. So I thought we would do a review of the year. We're just going to go through, talk about some of the positives and some of the negatives for WWE, for NXT, and for AEW.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
So I thought, being the ghost of, the chairman of Wrestling Past, I'm going to go through all the positives and tell you all the good things that have happened in wrestling, whereas you, the Wrestling Scrooge, can be all the negatives and go through the bad things that have happened. So
yes, all right. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's get ready. Let's get going.
So, should we start with the positives, or should we start with the negatives?
We've got to start with the positives. Let's kick it off with a good flow.
Right. We'll start off with the WWE then. So some positives. Okay, so I'm going to start. We've made 5 points for each one.
Yes.
So we'll go through one at a time, and we'll sort of go back and forth on there. So, a positive first of all, then, for the WWE for the last year. We started off with an exciting and eventful Royal Rumble event, which included the Royal Rumble match itself. Which actually ranked 4.25 by Dave Meltzer. Gave that a very good review. Won by Edge, who came in at number 1 and lasted over 58 minutes. Fantastic. Edge then went on to have a great series of matches with Roman Reigns, as well as that trilogy with Seth Rollins, which I think was great. The 4 big events, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, all did very well. As well as some standout events like Money in the Bank and Extreme Rules. So yeah, so that's a bit of a positive there. Okay.
Oh dear.
Ooh, here comes Scrooge.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Shout out to the chairman as well for this beautiful clipboard as well. The Wrestling Guy clipboard is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You knew this was going to be in the list. Releases.
Oh.
Releases. It was inevitable it was going to be in there. I didn't even really have to think about it. I've lost track of the number of releases, but it's far too many. Yeah, boo.
Okay.
That's a bad
Okay,
one.
yeah, it's okay. So yeah, a lot of the releases, yeah, there were some releases, so negatives on there, yeah, obviously. Okay. So, another positive, the return of fans for WrestleMania. That was a big positive for the company, totaling 51,350 people over the 2 nights. Really good ticket sales, recording 1.1 billion views across various formats as well. So, I mean, that's fantastic as a business. The event itself was praised by a large number of critics and showcased some great matches, including Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Cesaro and Seth Rollins was good as well. That was a personal favourite of mine over WrestleMania. Bianca Belair winning the Smackdown Women's Championship from Sasha Banks. And then they followed that on with Backlash, which was also a very good event. I thoroughly enjoyed that one as well. So, there you go.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. What are they doing to their women's division? Completely boo. Bianca Belair is the standout one for me. I mean, yeah, she won the title at WrestleMania. It was brilliant. It was really good. And then Becky Lynch returns at SummerSlam, and that completely destroys everything. Someone's throwing a grenade in, boom, explosion, everything's just completely blown up. And again, they're still relying on the 4 horsewomen to carry the company at the moment. I feel bad saying that, but it's the truth, unfortunately.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Put a downer on this. Let's put another positive then. The head of the table, the tribal chief, the WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. What a year for him.
Oh, yes.
Once the most hated and despised WWE superstar going, fans have started to warm to him. Fans have really got into this new character. He's been holding the company up, been producing some great matches with the likes of Daniel Bryan and Edge at WrestleMania, Cesaro at Backlash, Finn Balor at Extreme Rules, and John Cena at SummerSlam. He's been a part of the best bit of storytelling and character development in 2021 for WWE. Thanks in part to putting him alongside Paul Heyman and putting him back together with the Usos for the Bloodline. Absolutely fantastic. There's been some great stuff on there for WWE. That's been storytelling and character development done exactly the right way, exactly the way it should be. So yeah, that's a great positive there. So that's really good.
Yeah. Quite a big downside for me is definitely got to be utilising the gimmicks that they've used properly, because they've had all of that stuff with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, which didn't have an ending. This stuff now with the egg from obviously promoting The Rock's new film, it's not great. It's kind of it's a bit of comedy. It's meant to kind of fill some time. It's not great. So I'd say they should go for more complete storylines, and I hope that's something we see more going into 2022. Is kind of, if you're going to come up with a good storyline, build on it, make some suspense behind it, and actually finish it off properly, like they did with the Edge and Seth Rollins trilogy. It was a nice sort of thing they did from start to finish. We need to see more of that, because it's been really confusing to keep track on who's doing what with who. How did that story end? What gimmick is that guy doing at the moment? Karrion Kross, for example, came up from NXT. They chucked a load of gladiator gear on him. It's not good at all. So yeah, let's hope there's a bit more consistency in 2022.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So another positive. I'm going to go a little bit businessy now on this one. The business has been recording profits for the year, as well as record-breaking figures for pay-per-view attendances and buy rates. They also announced partnerships with Panini and extensions with Mattel and the Special Olympics. So we'll see more figures and stickers and things like that coming out for the company. Their partnerships with Fox and the USA Network, as well as their addition to the Peacock, which shows that they're continuing to make their brand presence known and trying to maintain hold of that number one wrestling brand spot,
Yes.
which they are currently being they currently have competition for. So yeah, but they are trying to do. It looks like they're in forms of a business strategy. It looks like they are focusing on going forward, which again, unfortunately hasn't involved having to make cuts and things like that. But the positives are there. The figures are good. They're recording good figures on there. Good money on there coming in as well. Maybe that's part of their strategy for 2022. I can't tell you that. I'm not the chairman of Wrestling to Come or Wrestling Future. I am just the chairman of the past. So,
something that's kind of a bit disappointing, something I was hoping for going into 2021 is I was hoping they were going to start focusing more on the tag teams. That was naive of me, obviously, because this is WWE we're talking about. But
McMahon doesn't like tag teams.
No. So it's been a shame, really, to see that there hasn't really been much development. You still forget who the champions are. I was sat the other day racking my brain remembering who the Raw Tag Team champions were. Obviously, it's RK Bro, but I sat and couldn't think for the life of me. So yeah, it's a real shame to see that they still have the same sort of opinion on their tag teams, really, because they've got some great ones in there. AJ Styles and Omos have been really good. The Viking Raiders. Since the Viking Raiders have come back, apart from in that Battle Royal that they were in the other day, I haven't really seen a lot, which is a shame, because I'm a really big fan of the Viking Raiders. I think they're really good. So hopefully, you can always be hopeful that stuff will change in 2022, but we shall see. We shall see.
Okay. So another positive on here. The roster still contains ring veterans like Randy Orton, AJ Styles, the return of Edge. The fans all love and appreciate their years of hard work and momentum. And this year, they've started to see more of those stars stepping forward. We're also starting to see new stars stepping forward and taking the baton as well. Guys like Big E, Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, they're being brought to the forefront. Fans are attaching to them as well. Putting Riddle with Orton was a great way of doing it. AJ they put with Omos, so Omos is getting that little bit of a push as well, giving Big E the title. I know fans criticise it. Fans say that maybe he's not the right person to have the title, but at the moment, I think he's doing a good job, and I think you need to be able to push those faces forward. So you've got to give them the opportunity to run with it. We're also starting to see some of the women's talent coming through. I know you said that they messed things up with Bianca Belair, but we are seeing Bianca Belair move up from NXT up onto the main roster. We saw Rhea Ripley move up onto the main roster. Both of them have had title success. Admittedly, they've had it taken away, probably a little bit too quickly, but we have seen that title success. Ripley and Belair, they're leading the charge against the veterans of Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Bayley. And that's what we need to see. When we see these women coming up from NXT, we want to see them coming in and becoming a challenge, because otherwise we're just going to get stuck with watching the same four women. And I think that Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, they're the forefront. They're the front runners for this. They're going to be the banner women for the future of the WWE's women division. Yes, okay, they have thinned out the roster quite dramatically over the last 12 months. But that now leaves the opportunity for new faces to be shown and developed, rather than having a roster of 300 plus people and half of them are sitting in the canteen all the time or in the cafeteria and they're not doing anything. They're not getting any TV time. They're not getting that chance to showcase themselves. Thin the roster out and use the roster that you've got. Put those people out. Get them forward. So I can see that there is the negativity of releasing so many people, but there is the positivity of the potential of what can happen now that you have a smaller and easier to manage roster. So let's see what happens. Let's see what 2022 brings us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I think the women's division is very interesting in WWE at the moment. And I'm excited to see, like, for example, Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch for the title on Raw. That would be good.
Yeah.
Because I think Liv Morgan, especially towards the back end of this year, has really sort of picked herself up and is starting to make a real big name for herself. So yeah, fair play to her.
That's the thing. They are going to be pushing women. They're going to be pushing some people forward. They are going to have to look at the future. And I think with this thinned out roster, that's what they're looking to do. So that can only be a positive. So let's move it on up. Obviously, we're recording this at the beginning of December, so we haven't seen War Games. We haven't seen what happens with Becky and Liv Morgan. But let's see what happens. So fingers crossed, this can be the way up. So yeah, positives.
Yeah. And we hate to finish WWE on a downer, but we are going to. They're not utilising the people in their roster enough. They've still got a lot of people there that they could be doing stuff with that they're just not. Ricochet is a prime example. Please, just watch the Battle Royal from the other day, right? That they did. This guy is just incredible. How is he just sat nursing a cup of tea in the canteen?
Yeah.
Like, to be blunt about it, like he's got so much talent, so much potential, and if I'm honest, I think it's unfair that he's not been in one of the releases, because he deserves more than what he's being given at the moment, and he's just one of many people that I think need the opportunity. Given the United States title, Damian Priest and Ricochet would be really good. Or even the IC title, Nakamura and Ricochet. That's a license to print money
there. Yeah.
So let's just see a bit more of it in 2022. Sort of look at the roster that you've got. I mean, yeah, I understand why you've thinned stuff out and why you've made so many releases, but look at the talent you have got and say, right, what can we do with these people that is actually going to give them the TV time, going to give them the purpose to actually be with the company? So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely something they need to think about, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so we've seen some positives and we've seen some negatives in there with WWE. Like we said, let's see what 2022 brings us. Like we said, I can't tell you that. I'm not the chairman of Wrestling Future. Right, so let's move on now then, and let's do AEW. Let's have a look at the AEW, and let's see if we can pick out some positives and some negatives from AEW. So I'm going to start us with a nice positive. Right back at the beginning of the year, the excellent Rey Fenix versus Kenny Omega match at New Year's Smash night one, as well as the appearance of the Good Brothers, and then joined by the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah.
Too sweet. The band got back together. The group went on to have an exciting and action-packed year with some outstanding matches, some title wins, some title losses, as well as adding Adam Cole, baby, to the group later in the year. So yeah, what a fantastic positive there. AEW getting that right with putting the group back together.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. That was that is definitely a real highlight. And yeah, too sweet. So cool. So a negative. The more I think about this, the more I actually think this is true. It's actually their women's division. Now, so obviously they have some bright parts. Chris Statlander, Britt Baker, Ruby Soho, etc., etc. However, a lot of their characters seem to be very basic and not very developed. And I think part of that is because they're new. The majority of their roster is new people we haven't seen before. They need time to build their characters up and to get that experience behind them. But I think they're getting a real lack of TV time, especially on Dynamite and Rampage. You see a lot of women's matches on Dark and Dark Elevation, but they need more mainstream TV time so that people can get invested in the characters. And it feels like the stories they're doing are poorly written. The story with Riho and Britt Baker at the moment isn't being written very well at all. It seems like they're kind of seeing what each week brings instead of actually saying, right, this is the story we want to go for and this is the outcome we want from it. So I think they definitely need to kind of look at their women's division a bit more, because I think that they're giving WWE the clear advantage on the women's division, because the WWE are a lot better at managing their women and utilising the different characters, whereas AEW, I think they're not really sure who the fans like, so therefore they're not sure who to use, and I think that's something they definitely need to take forward into 2022.
Okay, that's interesting, because that brings me on to my next point, which is actually the AEW women's division. I feel has actually got stronger as the year has gone on. The lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa at St. Patrick's Day Slam was beautiful. It was a real turning point for the division. The two ladies put on not only a historic, groundbreaking match, but also probably one of the best televised women's matches in professional wrestling. It was absolutely fantastic. An absolutely great match. If you haven't seen it, do go back and watch it. It's a classic. Since then, we have seen the women's division actually getting stronger. We've seen more women being introduced. I do agree that some of the characters still need development. Some of the storyline can be improved. But we have seen fans starting to get into the women's division more. The fans are behind the women that are coming in now. It used to be a time when people used to see the women's division as a joke and would see it as an opportunity to go and get a beer and have a break or whatever. But now people are actually seeing the women's division properly and actually seeing the talent that's actually involved in it. And I think AEW have got a good women's roster. It might be the fact that they have quite a big women's roster at the moment, especially in comparison to WWE's. And maybe they do need to work on the characters so that they are different, so that they are singled out. You don't want too many people that are all the same. You don't want the generic blonde hair, big breast kind of bimbo kind of look to them. You want to have women that are going to have different character, different story to them. And I can see AEW doing that. I can see AEW being the front runners for that. But yeah, I think the women's division at the moment, top class, and that's a real positive. And I say the front runners like Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. You've got people like Penelope Ford. You've got the Bunny. You've got Layla Hirsch. You've got so many people coming in. Ty Conti as well.
Soho.
Yeah, Ruby Soho. You've got so much diversity there, and so many things you can do with it. So I can see it going. I can see it building up. And obviously they've got the TBS title as well. This new title they're bringing in. There's now the women's division is going to have two titles that are different rather than Raw and Smackdown being pretty much the same thing. TBS and the women's title, something a little different. So yeah, I really like that. So yeah, pushing for the women's division, a real positive for me, I think.
Okay, so the next one, and this is quite a big one, I think, especially over the course of this year. Over-reliance on former WWE stars. AEW need to ensure that there's a healthy balance between their newly grown talent and their former WWE/global stars. It's clear that the AEW are lacking in the homegrown star power department, obviously because they're so new. WWE has that history behind them, and they have all of their developmental and things like that. However, I think this is something that AEW could easily achieve. You look at the stuff they're doing on Dark Elevation, for example. They've got new guys coming in, making their debuts, and some of them you think, yeah, I see the potential there in that guy. So I'm hoping in 2022 they kind of put more of an emphasis on that. Because like this year, for example, you've had Andrade, Bryan Danielson, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, Ruby Soho. There's a lot of big people in there that have debuted, and yeah, it's been exciting. It's been really good. CM Punk, how could I forget about CM Punk? They've had a lot of people debut that it's been exciting, but let's see more of a balance between their homegrown talent and former superstars, I think.
Okay. Excellent. Which interestingly brings me on to my next point, the positive. The signing of former WWE superstars. CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Andrade El Idolo, Malachi Black, Christian Cage, Ruby Soho, Leo Rush 2.0. They've all got so much talent. They've all got so much potential. A lot of these stars, I can see them helping to push and develop their younger talent. Their years of experience, their years of knowledge, their years of being on the scene and knowing the ins and outs. There's so much opportunity there for them to be able to push the young talent going forward. Yes, okay, maybe they are a little bit over-reliant on them at the moment to help them push things like pay-per-views and main events and things like that. Maybe they are using them a little too much for that. But then you're also getting things like the interaction with CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. I mean, that has helped push Eddie Kingston to the moon. I mean, and Eddie Kingston's always been great. I mean, I've seen his previous work in like the NWA, things like that, and he's a great worker. But that interaction that he had with CM Punk has helped elevate him up even more. What a year for somebody like Eddie Kingston to have. Absolutely fantastic. You've now got this you're going on with MJF. And that's going to help just push MJF up that little bit more. Not that he needs it, he's great already, but things like that. All these opportunities that they've got on here to use WWE talent and superstars to help push their current roster. That's what they need to do, and I can see them doing that. So to me, it's a positive. It's a positive bringing these stars in. It's their way of creating their future stars by bringing in former stars and learning off of them. So, but yeah, there's a positive for me.
Okay, next point. For me, personally, there's a clear confusion between heels and baby faces. They seem to have their stars lean towards one way or another way, depending on what the story is. And this is fine in theory, as it comes across more natural. However, it creates confusion because you look at a guy one week, like Pentagon, for example. 1 minute he's a heel, he's a face again, and then they're healed again. It's kind of like, It creates a confusion of who are we meant to be cheering and who are we meant to be booing. And I know there's that stuff going on with Cody Rhodes at the moment, where everyone wants to cheer him, but everyone's booing him. So it's kind of like, it's always that confusion of, let's make more of a clear-cut define between who's face and who's heel. I think, personally.
I think the problem with that, is that fans are always going to be fickle. They're always going to pick who they like and who they don't like, and people are always going to cheer the bad guys because people like the bad guys. I mean, look at Roman Reigns again. Going back to Roman Reigns, nobody was cheering Roman Reigns when he was a face. Now he's a heel. Everyone seems to be cheering him. So, but yeah, we're fickle. We're fickle like that. Right. My next point, another positive. The Forbidden Door. The Forbidden Door being opened. With Kenta was right back at the beginning of the year attacking Jon Moxley. This represented something that fans have been longing for, New Japan stars in American wrestling rings. Since then, we've seen the likes of Satoshi Kojima, Yuji Nagata, Minoru Suzuki. I love Minoru Suzuki. So yeah, we've also seen Jay White, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson on Impact. Impact working with AEW as well. Collaborations between AEW and the NWA's women's division as well. That's where we've seen people like Layla Hirsch. So I think the AEW creating this more open, more opportunistic environment for their wrestlers and saying, rather than being, right, it's WWE and that's it, they're going, no, we're AEW. So if we want people from over here, we're going to get them. We're going to see if they want to come over and join us. If we want people from over this side, we're going to see whether they want to come over and join us. Maybe we'll send stars over the other way as well and create more of a larger network of wrestling stars working together, rather than being one single entity and saying, no, this is us and we're controlling everything. We're controlling what you say and do and everything else. And I think that's been fantastic.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's definitely a good point there. Linking in with my point about over-reliance on former stars, I think AEW are beginning to oversaturate their roster. Tony Khan is investing too much money, I think, into bringing in really big stars and not enough time working on talent they have. I think having a small roster is something that AEW have over WWE in terms of an advantage. I think if AEW's roster becomes too big, they'll begin to fall into the same trap that WWE did. They won't be able to give all of their stars TV time, and slowly AEW will begin pushing their stars into the shadows, and eventually we'll get to the point of releases. So I think it's something that AEW have to be careful with, and I think Tony Khan has to start thinking about closing his wallet and looking at actually the people he's got, and let's see what we can do with them.
Yeah, I will agree on that one actually, because you get to the point where you've got too many people, you can't use them all. They're going to be ending up sitting out the back doing nothing, and then they'll get bored and they'll be asking for their release.
Yes.
And then they'll want to go off and explore other options. It's WWE have done it. That's why they trimmed back. WCW did it in the past. They filled their roster up with so many people and hardly used any of them. So, and that was what ended up costing them. So yeah, that was a very good point there. Yeah, I think time for Tony to close the wallet up for a little bit, focus on the people that he's got, and focus on what he's got going forward. Another positive for me, this is in terms of the business again. Overall, an exciting and event-filled year for AEW. The company and the roster are continuing to grow and develop. Bear in mind they're only in their second or third year now, so their popularity continues to grow and develop, especially amongst the fans. They look like legitimate contenders now against the WWE right now, which WWE haven't had in a while. And maybe that's what WWE have needed. Maybe that's what they need to pick up the bum and say, right, we now have somebody on our town now who's actually becoming a threat to us. Maybe we need to start stepping things up. So it's a good opportunity for wrestling companies all around to start looking at their game. With the increase that AEW are having in shows and pay-per-view events, they've closed the gaps in the ratings. Experts say they have leverage now when it comes to TV deals, which will be good for AEW. Regular releases of new action figures, T-shirts, merchandise, as well as their appearances and sessions at things like Comic-Cons, wrestling conventions, and other fan-based events, which keeps them in the sight of wrestling fans, not just AEW fans, but also other wrestling fans as well. We just recently went to the Comic-Con over in Telford. You had Kenny Omega, we had Britt Baker, you had Luchasaurus. Three sort of big AEW stars, and you didn't have any WWE current stars in there. They had Bret Hart and they had Melina, but no current stars there to speak of. And a lot of that is because of WWE putting these shackles on their superstars and saying, no, you can't do this and you can't do that. It's Tony Khan letting his wrestlers have access to their social media, following their own pursuits. Dr. Britt Baker said at the Comic-Con that one of the big advantages of working for AEW is that she can still carry on being a dentist as well as being a wrestler. And to her, that's a big relief for her. And that's the sort of thing that AEW will let her do. letting them fulfill their commitments to other organisations. It's a great way of keeping the employees and the fans happy. If your workforce are happy, they're going to give you the best product. So to me that is positive. AEW, I think, are going in the right direction in terms of how to treat their superstars. Let's hope it long continues.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I think it's something that they're definitely getting right at the moment, and let's hope that, like you say, it continues on into next year. So to finish on, I'm going to make this really, really miserable towards the end of it.
Don't want miserable.
Excessive comedy, far too much comedy at the moment in AEW. More recently, it started to become more serious since they brought the likes of Bryan Danielson in, CM Punk. But they go for the comedy far too often. There are points where it's funny. There are points where Orange Cassidy, for example, just really isn't funny. Far too excessive, far too much of it. So let's hope going into 2022 they keep this sort of more serious approach that they're going for. A little bit of comedy is fine. Don't want it serious all the time, but stop going for the comedy card every 5 seconds. It just, rubbish.
Boo the Scrooge, yeah. Boo the Scrooge. We all like a little bit of comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it is a little bit too much. But yeah, we all like a good laugh and a bit of comedy in it. So, right. Okay, so we've gone through the positives and negatives in WWE. We've gone through some positives and negatives for AEW in the past year as well. Let's have a look at NXT, or NXT 2.0, as we like to call it, and also NXT UK. Let's not forget them as well. Right, so positive for NXT. Outstanding matches of the year. They've had some great matches in there. The 3 Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly matches, excellent. Johnny Gargano versus Kushida, Vengeance Day was brilliant. And of course, you can't forget Volta and Ilya Dragunov to TakeOver 36. Absolutely fantastic match. Rated 5.25. By Dave Meltzer out of 5, so I mean that's how much Dave liked it. So they continue to have great pay-per-views throughout 2021 as well. Vengeance Day, Stand and Deliver, In Your House, all great events. Will War Games be a success this Sunday? Let's hope so. But yeah, positives there. So yeah, some outstanding matches, some great pay-per-views throughout the year.
Yeah. So this is my point is a big downer. It's a big rubbish. Presentation. Personally, I'm not a fan of this new NXT branding. I was very much a big fan of the black and gold, the darker look, the black ring mat, the sort of edginess that it had. Whereas nowadays, the logo looks like they gave it to a child. They gave it to scribble on, and it doesn't have the same appeal. And I think that it's too much of a big contrast between it being really dark and edgy, so it being really bright and colourful and yay, happy. So yeah, not good for me.
Okay, all right. On the flip side of that, as a positive on there, new look, new faces, new identity. They've gone straight. They've taken away the black and gold and brought in colour, made it a bit more vibrant, a bit more lively. They were obviously going to say, right, we're going to get rid of this form of NXT, we want to bring in our own NXT. How do we do that? The first thing you do, move out the black and gold, bring in colour, because it's a complete contrast. So you've created that. You've said, right, that's where it ends. That's where the black and gold ends. This is where the multicolour begins. So we're going to see some new faces. NXT 2.0, it's changing the focus back to development, creating new and fresh talent. Their strategy looks good. As they develop their own stars and their own talent roster. It's moulding them into the way of WWE before you bring them up to the main roster. They're obviously looking at the potential of having people that they can create and develop and mould into their own image, so that when they bring them up to the main roster, they don't have to go through name changes and style changes and things like that, like they usually do with the indie guys. NXT 2.0 now is a factory for future talent. They're not having to rely on going through the indie circuit, poaching people out, waiting for people's contracts to end and everything else. They're just saying, no, right, we're going to bring in our own set of stars and this is how we're going to do it. I think it's interesting. I did love the black and gold. I loved the black and gold of the original NXT. I loved everything that they did on the original NXT. 2.0, is it the way of the future? let's wait and see. Let's see what happens. But yeah, but I think it's a positive. I think it's a case of right. We're not trying to be another wrestling show. We're going to be now a development show. We're going to show you fresh talent, new faces. These are the stars of tomorrow, and I think that's what WWE is now focusing on is on the future. And maybe that's why they made all the budget cuts, the budget cuts, and all the releases that they made as well. They're focusing on the future now. So to me, yeah, 2.0, the wave of the future.
Okay, fair enough. My next point is actually on their roster. They've gone from having big stars that everybody loves to having a bunch of people that nobody knows. I know their reasons behind it. Like you said, they wanted to turn it more into a developmental show, give you new people that you can become invested in. However, I think it was too much of a transition too quickly. It should have been more gradual. So you could slowly start to get to know these people to the point where they started the new branding. And you said, oh yeah, I have a bit of an idea of who those people are. Prime example, I can't even remember his name, when he won the North American Championship. And I remember looking on the news the next day and thinking, I don't even know who that guy is.
I mean, Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, that'd be the one. And it's just like, it just creates that confusion that you really don't want. However, what I will say is I am interested as a wrestling fan to see what these new people have to offer. It's the stars of the future, and I think 2022 is going to be an exciting time to look at NXT 2.0 and really see what they have in store and who we can be invested in next. Really.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what 2.0 is going to be all about.
Yeah.
It's going to be all about the future. So, right. My next point, a positive on here. NXT continuing to develop characters and storylines with people like Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and Indy Hartwell. And the transformation of Mandy Rose as well, I thought was fantastic as well. With the changeover to 2.0, they're starting to create new stars with the likes of Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes. So I think that's going to be interesting as well. You're going to get new character, new storyline, new development in there. Okay, yeah, they're not people that we know just yet, but maybe we'll be sitting and doing something like this again next year and talking about the amazing years that Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, people like that have had. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens on there. I think what's also is interesting at the moment, which I think is a real positive as well, is the development leading into War Games with Team Black and Gold. You've got Team Black and Gold of Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, LA Knight, Pete Dunne, versus Team 2.0 with Bron Breakker, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. So it's acknowledging that past and future link there as well. You've got the old school, the veterans going up against the young bloods, the fresh young talent in there, and I think that's great as well. I think that's a real positive. That's going to be a real boost in the arm for the future guys, as well as a great opportunity for the veterans to show their talent and show what they can do and develop the future guys. So
yeah, really, that's a good point. Actually, I think it's I personally, I'm going to say I'm excited for War Games. I always like the War Games format, the concept. It has a history for being really good. Yeah. I don't think I can name a bad War Games at all. Also, it'd be interesting to be the first one without Undisputed Era. Okay.
Sorry, I had to put that one in.
So yeah, I think it's time for a bad point, isn't it? After that, so who exactly do the people cheer for at the moment? And I know I probably sound like a scratch record about the new roster thing, but the fans have difficulty knowing who these people are, so therefore there isn't a following. I think it's more so towards the start. I think now in the present, people are starting to get an idea of who these people are. Bron Breakker, for example, and they're starting to get invested in the characters. But my hope for 2022 is that they keep this following going and they really start giving people really strong characters that the fans can get really invested in to say, yeah, I love that guy on NXT 2.0. So yeah, hopefully in 2022 they keep it up. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. Right, next point. The NXT Women's Division. I believe has also got stronger as the years gone on. The Dusty Rhodes Classic. Great to see that they let the women have a tag team tournament as well. The match between Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai versus Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon was probably a standout match of that whole series as well. Helped put Raquel Gonzalez on the forefront of the division, because she had the women's title as well, made her the banner woman for the brand. Especially when you have the departure of Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley going up to the main roster. So I think that was a real positive on there. Since then, we've seen the women's division getting stronger. The recent addition of Toxic Attraction, I think, has been fantastic. The fans really liking it. The fans are getting back into it again. It's helping to push the women's division. It's stopping making them that subcategory. They're the lesser matches or whatever, because they are putting on some really strong matches throughout the year. Fans are getting more into the women's division, and that's what the women's division really needs is the fan interest in it. So so positive for me there.
I would say for me, a big one is I can understand why they're pushing the bigger talent out, the likes of Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, but why not have them with the new guys and kind of create more of a teacher-student type combination? Because I think it's good to have a balance. I think if you're going completely one way or completely the other way, it becomes boring very quickly. So I think it'd be good if they kept more of a contrast between, we'll have these newer guys come in, but we'll have them work with the older guys. A bit like what AEW are doing. But they're pairing up the guys over there. They've got Sting and Darby Allin working together. They've got Christian and Jungle Boy working together. So I think it'd be good if we saw something like that happen in 2022. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. I think.
That's an interesting point. I think that would be good to see that. I'd like to see sort of the student and master kind of thing going on. Yeah, that'd be good. My final point is I'm going to give a shout out to NXT UK. Because they had a hard start to the year. They weren't putting on any shows or anything. Obviously because we had COVID and everything else. They've come back. They come back strong. They're doing well. They're putting on some good, consistent matches throughout. You've got the likes of Volta. You've got Ilya Dragunov, Subculture, Noam Dar, A-Kid. They're putting on good, consistent shows, and everybody seems to forget about NXT UK, which is a real shame. They're almost the bastard son of WWE and NXT that everybody forgets about. They get shoved in the corner and forgotten about. Yet they're putting on some good matches throughout the year. They've been consistent. They've been running well. I really hope we see a lot more of them in 2022. But yeah, real positive for NXT UK. So I'm going to give a shout out to them. They've been good. Good throughout the year.
It's funny you should say that actually, because that actually ties into my final point, which was actually about NXT UK and how I don't think that they've been given the recognition that they deserve. Because I'm personally a really big fan of NXT UK. They've got some great characters on there, some great storylines going on, and they're not given the recognition they deserve. So I hope in 2022, both NXT, WWE, they make more of a point of NXT UK. Put them out there, advertise them, put them banners, do whatever you have to do to get them the recognition, because they really do deserve it. And I hope in 2022 we see a lot more praise and a lot more awareness of NXT UK.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
okay.
that was our breakdown for each brand.
Yeah. So that's our breakdown of the past for the past 12 months on there. We've gone through some positives, we've gone through some negatives for each of the brands on there as well. Obviously, we'd be interested to know what you guys think as well. It's always interesting to see what you guys are thinking about it all as well. So, but that's the past. That's the past all covered. So so my work here is done. I've brought in all the positives. Scrooge here has brought in all the negatives. So I must away. You will be visited again by two other chairmen. And let's see what they bring you as well. But as for now, my day draws to an end, and I must fly.
Ooh. Bye. That was interesting. It was a nice little video. A nice little discussion there. Let's talk about Dynamite this week quickly, actually, because what an Atlanta Street Fighter was between Cody Rhodes and Andrade. That through the flaming table. Fair play to Cody for doing that. Obviously, we saw the return of Brandy Rhodes as well, which I personally really like. I'm a big fan of Brandy Rhodes. Excited to see what she does now that she's back as well. There's always that rumor of Cody Rhodes returning. Turning heel, which I think would be good because they're trying to sort of see what the fans want with Cody Rhodes, and I think that'll be really good to see what happens. Come in.
Right, wrestling guy.
Oh,
right,
hi.
doing a video today then?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here, so I am the chairman of Wrestling Present. Thought we were scheduled in to do a video, so I don't know what's going on. So
We were
right.
a little bit late. We did actually have a visit from you in the past, which was interesting.
I just got here.
Okay, fair
Just
enough.
got here. So
Anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's just crack on with today's video.
all right, guys. Yeah, good to see you again. Chairman of the board here. Chairman of Wrestling Present. Wrestling Present. So, talking of presents, this is going to be a good opportunity for the wrestling guy to win a prize.
Yes.
Yes. So, there has been a prize that's been hovering around for the last few months that the wrestling guy has not seemed to have the opportunity to grab hold of. And as Christmas is coming, I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to get together and do a little list quiz. See how he gets on. So, do you happen to have a pen over there at all?
I do have a pen.
Fantastic.
Yes, so
Lovely. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So I have come up with a little quiz here for the wrestling guy. So this is going to be based on championships and title holders. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the name of each title in WWE, in NXT, and in AEW, and I want you to tell me who has held that title this year.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, and I will tell you how many people as well. So I will give you the amount on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. The total amount on here that you will be going for is. Let me get my next page up. 74.
Oh.
Okay. If you can get 55 or more, you will win the elusive prize that you seem to have missed on so many occasions. Right. Okay. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, right.
Let's do
We're
it.
going to start first of all then with the WWE Championship. There have been 4 holders of this in 2021. Can you tell me who they are?
So are we including the current?
This includes the current champion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Big E.
So Big E is the current champion. Yes.
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
And Brock Lesnar.
No.
No, it wasn't Brock Lesnar, was it?
No.
That was cool. That was years ago. Last year. I'm forgetting who the.
If you don't know, you can tap out at any time.
Oh, my brain.
You are going to kick yourself if you don't get this one.
Yeah, I know I am. Just trying to rack my brain back now. Randy Orton?
Nope. You're going to have to hurry you.
Yeah, gonna have to tap.
You're going to have to tap on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. It was The Miz when he cashed
Oh,
in.
of course it was,
He
yeah.
cashed in Money in the Bank, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he did. Oh,
yeah.
silly.
So, 3 out of 4 on that one. Right.
Oh, dear.
The Universal Championship. There has only been 1 holder.
Oh, I wonder who that is.
I wonder.
It is Roman Reigns.
It is Roman Reigns, yes.
Head of the table.
Yeah, well done. Right, okay. The Raw Women's Championship. There have been 6
Oh, has
holders
there?
this year.
So we've obviously got Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Are we including Charlotte?
We are including Charlotte Flair because obviously,
Yeah.
because they transferred it over.
Yeah.
So yes, so Charlotte Flair is included.
We've had Rhea Ripley,
We did have Rhea Ripley.
Asuka,
Asuka had it at the start of the year. Yeah. Bear in mind, there can also be repeats on this list as well. So it could be that somebody might have held it more than once.
Nikki ASH.
Nikki ASH.
Or Nikki,
yeah.
And there's Charlotte again.
And Charlotte again, yes. Yeah, Charlotte held it twice, yeah. Because she won it off of Rhea, lost it to Nikki.
Yeah.
And then won it back.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, brilliant. So all 6 on that one. Well done.
Yes,
Okay.
good.
Next one, the Smackdown Women's Championship. There are 4. This one.
Okay. Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte Flair has it now, yeah.
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair, yeah.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch, yeah. Brilliant. Well done. 4 out of 4 on that one.
Nice.
Lovely. Next one, the United States Championship. There have been 4 holders again.
Damian Priest.
Damian Priest, current champion.
Sheamus. Riddle.
Matt Riddle.
Jeff Hardy.
Nope.
Oh no, he won the IC, didn't he? I didn't even think that was this year. Who did Riddle beat?
Yeah, this is the person that had it at the start of the year.
Bobby Lashley.
It was Bobby Lashley,
Yeah.
yes, well done. Brilliant. Okay. Right. Next one. Raw Tag Team Championships. There have been 4.
God, I can't even remember who's got them now. RK Bro.
RK Bro had them now, yeah.
AJ Styles and Omos.
Yeah.
Viking Raiders?
Nope.
No. Hurt Business.
Yep, Cedric B.
Cedric and Shelton.
Benjamin, yeah.
And
One more.
Usos?
Nope.
No. New Day.
New Day, yeah.
I was going to say it's got to be
Yeah.
New Day.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, next one. The Intercontinental title. There have been 3.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Current champion, yeah.
Apollo.
Apollo, yeah.
Biggie.
And Big E, yeah, well done. Brilliant. Excellent, doing very well on this one. Right, next one. SmackDown Tag Team Champions. There have been 4.
Okay. Usos.
Yes.
Dirty Dogs.
Dirty Dogs, yes. Love the Dirty Dogs.
Yeah. New Day? No.
No.
Who else is one? Mysterios.
Mysterios, yeah. One more. I had them at the start of the year.
I can't remember. Oh, I'm going to have to tap.
Nope.
I can't remember.
Street Profits.
Oh, yeah, of
Street
course.
Profits.
Oh, damn
yeah,
it.
Street Profits had them at the start of the year.
Damn it.
Right, next one. The Women's Tag Team Champions.
Oh, my
There have
God.
been 5.
Tamina and Natalia.
Yeah.
Carmella and Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
Queen
Current holders,
Zelina.
yeah.
Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH.
Yeah.
How many have we got?
You've done 3 there. You've got 2 more.
Oh, Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
And
Beginning of the year again.
Bailey and Sasha?
Nope.
Oh. I can't remember. No, you'll have to tap like
No, it was Asuka and Charlotte.
Oh yeah,
Asuka
cool.
and Charlotte
Yeah,
Flair
yeah,
at
it
the
was.
beginning of
Yeah.
the year, yeah. No. All right, you're still in it though. You're doing really well. Right. Okay, we're moving on to NXT. So NXT Championship. There have been 4 title holders.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
Karen Cross.
Yeah.
Adam Cole.
Nope.
Cool. This isn't good. I don't know. Johnny Gargano?
Nope.
No, I'm gonna have to tap. I
No.
can't remember.
Okay. Samoa Joe.
Yeah, of
Finn
course.
Balor.
Oh yeah,
And
Finn
then
Balor.
beginning
How
of
did I
the
forget
year,
about Finn Balor?
I forgot Joe.
Yeah, Alex well. Yeah.
See, we made such a big thing about him coming back.
Yeah.
So right, next one. The NXT Women's Championship. There have been 2.
Mandy Rose.
Yep.
And Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah, easy one on that one.
Yeah.
Lovely job. Okay, next one. The NXT North American Champion. There have been 4.
I can't remember the name. Camilla Hayes.
Camilla Hayes, yeah.
Oh man. Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, yeah. One of your favourites.
Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Isaiah Swerve Scott, yeah.
And Cameron Grimes.
Nope.
Cameron Grimes.
No, Cameron Grimes was
$1 million. Yeah. Keith Lee?
Nope.
Oh dear. No, I'm not sure. I'm gonna tap.
Johnny Gargano.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Gargano was the other
course.
one. There you go. Right, next one. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship. There have been 4.
Roderick Strong.
Yep.
Kushida.
Yep.
Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar, yeah, was the interim.
Jordan Devlin.
And Jordan Devlin, yeah,
Yeah.
because Jordan Devlin also
No,
did the
that's
travel, so they had an interim.
They had that good ladder, that really good ladder match.
They had that very good ladder
Yeah.
match. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Right, next one. NXT Tag Team Championships. There have been 3 title holders.
MSK.
MSK.
Danny Burch and New Yorkin.
Yeah.
And can't remember. No, I'm not sure I'm going to tap. I can't
No,
remember.
Imperium. I've got it now.
Oh yeah, of course.
The current title holders. Yeah. So.
Let's get back into my NXT. Let's get back into my NXT. Yeah.
Right. Next one. The NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. There have been 5.
Oh my gosh. Obviously, Toxic Attraction.
Toxic
Got it.
Attraction. Yeah.
Io Shirai, Zoe Stark.
Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Yes.
Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah.
Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
Is there one more?
There's one more.
Oh my god. Did I say Ember Moon and Shotzi
You
Black?
did, yes.
I have no clue. I'm going to tap.
No.
I don't-
Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Right. Okay. NXT UK. The NXT UK champion. 2. 2 of them.
Either Dragunov and Volta.
Easy one. Easy one on that one. Right. Well done. Right. Next one. NXT Women's Championship. NXT UK, sorry, Women's Championship. There have been 2.
Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray, yeah.
I don't even... I can't remember her name.
No, Miko Satomura.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
the current one.
I was going to say Sakumura.
Right, the next one. The NXT UK Heritage Cup. There have been 3.
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar, yeah.
Trent Seven?
Nope.
No. Tyler Bate?
Tyler Bate, yeah.
And Joe Coffey?
Nope.
No, Joe Coffey. No, I don't know.
No, A-Kid.
A-Kid,
The normal winner on it. So, right, okay. The NXT UK Tag Team Champions. There have been 2.
Wolfgang. Is it no, Wolfgang. Gallus.
Gallus, yeah. Yeah, Wolfgang didn't win it on his own.
No.
Gallus, yeah.
And Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly, yeah. Well done. Well done. Right, okay. And we're on to AEW now, the final group. So AEW World Championship. There have been 2.
Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done. The AEW Women's Championship. There have been 2.
Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida.
Hikaru Shida, well done. Okay, the TNT Championship. There have been 2.
Sammy Guevara and Miro.
Miro, yeah, well done. Okay, and the last one, the AEW Tag Team Champions. There have been 2.
The Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks.
That's it, yeah, well done. Brilliant. So you got your AEW down.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, excellent. So how do you think you got on? Did you get more than 55? Have you finally won the elusive
I hope so. I'm going to be positive and get in the Christmas spirit and say yes, I did.
You did very, very well. You didn't drop many at all, and you got 64 out of 74.
Yes,
well done.
finally.
So you have won a prize. Let me just grab 1 second. So you guys have probably seen this package a few times on other videos, so you have finally won it.
Yes.
Here we go.
Finally.
Well done.
Let's see what we've
Early
got.
Merry Christmas.
We've seen this one in a lot of videos, but we haven't actually seen what's inside. So let's finally have a look and see who we've got. Oh, it's not a duplicate. It's one that we need for our women's division. Series 85, Liv Morgan. What a time to get a Liv Morgan
Liv Morgan as well with her upcoming title.
Yeah, that's a beautiful figure.
It's a lovely one.
That's a really nice one. Thank you very much, Chairman.
No, you're very welcome.
Really nice one to add to our women's set. So finally we won it, guys. Finally.
Yeah, finally. I'm tired of carrying it around. But yeah, well done for that. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
So,
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I enjoyed that. That was a good video.
That's really good. Yeah.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to nip out for a minute. Just going to make a quick phone call.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
So,
fine.
I'll be back in a moment. All right.
Yeah. Well, that was bizarre. Oh, Rampage last night. That's a good thing to talk about. Tony Nese and Sammy Guevara. You have to let me know in the comment section what you thought of that, guys. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Really excited to see what they're doing. Love the new stuff they're doing with Tony Nese. The Premier Athlete stuff, it's really good. And obviously, Sammy Guevara is a great TNT champion at the moment. Sammy Guevara is definitely up there as one of the top guys at the moment. So, yeah, really happy with that. Really excited to see where they're going with this, with the Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy stuff. I'm not really a massive fan of Orange Cassidy, but a big fan of the Elite. Chairman's taking a while.
What year is it?
2021.
Oh, I'm in the right place. Oh, thank God for that. Oh my God. Oh, wow.
And
Finally out of that war zone.
who are you, might I ask?
Well, I am the chairman of Wrestling Future. And let me tell you, God, The future is a war zone out there. Oh my God. It's absolutely terrible. Ever since the Supreme High Lord Commander Boris Johnson, God bless him. Ever since he took over the country, wow, it's just been absolutely terrible. Thank God we've still got wrestling to fall back on, something to enjoy, something to look forward to. Wow. I'm so glad I landed in this right zone. I'm glad I found you. Right, we have a mission, a very important mission.
Okay.
Right, okay, so we are going to be looking at wrestling future. Most importantly, the next year, 2022. This could make or break wrestling. So, what we're going to do is I am going to give you some questions and I want you to fill in the blanks for me.
Okay.
All right? So, this is going to be all about predictions. Who does the wrestling guy think is going to be the standout in 2022? Let's find out, shall we? Right. Okay. The winner of the Men's Royal Rumble in 2022 will be...
Oh, what a question. What a way to start. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble match this year? I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre.
Drew. Okay.
Yeah, I think Drew McIntyre is going to win again.
I'll take this back. I'm going to take this all back for research.
Yeah.
Research purposes.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2022 will be
Liv Morgan. My money is going straight on Liv Morgan.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely.
Okay. The men's elimination chamber match or matches will include, and I want 4 people. Yes?
4 people.
Yeah. Obviously, the matches contain 6, but we don't know how many matches they're going to have. Well, I do, because I come from the future, but you don't. So, but will you give me 4?
Ooh. I think we'll see. Are we talking male, female?
The men's one.
Men's one.
Will they have a women's one this year?
Oh. You do. I think we'll see. I'd like to see Seth Rollins in there. I definitely think Seth Rollins would be a good one to have in there. I think Kevin Owens might be a good one to have in there.
Yeah.
Sheamus, I always like seeing in the chamber. He always does a good job. Possibly even someone like Shinsuke Nakamura. Would be an interesting one for inside the elimination chamber.
Interesting.
So,
okay, right, okay. The main event match for WrestleMania Night 1 will be...
Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre.
Reigns versus McIntyre. Okay, interesting. Okay. The main event match for WrestleMania Night 2 will be...
Big E and... Oh, see, I don't know at the moment who will challenge Big E for the title. I'm going to say... I'm actually going to say Finn Balor.
Ooh, Big E versus Balor.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
Ooh.
So, next one. There will be how many releases made by WWE in 2022?
How many people they got left?
No, this is controversial.
2,234. No, I reckon it's going to start thinning out a little bit now, to be honest. I'm going to go for... I'm going to say let's go for around even 50, I reckon.
Even 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still think there's a few people that are at risk, but we'll see.
Interesting. Okay. The main event for SummerSlam will be...
Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Reigns versus Lesnar. Okay.
Boom. It's going to be a good one.
Okay. Okay. We will see the return of who to WWE, and I want 3 names.
Hopefully Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett. I'd really like to see Wade Barrett come back.
Okay.
And I think The Rock as well, to be honest.
And The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Right. In AEW, the winner of the Casino Battle Royale will be...
That's a really good one. I'm actually going... Bryan Danielson.
Okay. Okay, right.
Yeah.
The next one. AEW will sign blank and blank after they leave WWE.
No. Ricochet.
Ricochet.
And... Bobby Lashley.
And Lashley. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right. WWE will sign blank and blank after they leave AEW.
Oh. I've got to say it, Penta and Phoenix.
Ooh, okay.
That'd be really good. I think they would.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay, right. The WWE Championship will change hands how many times in the year?
I'd say 4. I think they're going to start really looking at it now and seeing who's actually a top contender for the big one.
Okay, interesting. The AEW Championship will change hands how many times in the year?
I'm going to say, let's say 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. We will see the split of the team of blank and blank in WWE.
The Elite. I think the Elite, unfortunately, is going to...
In WWE?
And WWE, sorry. Oh, sorry. Not my fault.
A tag team.
Yeah. I think the bloodline, I think, is going to crumble at some point.
So we're going to see the Usos and Reigns, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the Mysterios, definitely up there. I think it's only a matter of time before something happens. So.
Mysterios. Okay. We will see the split of the teams of blank and blank in AEW.
There we go. The Elite. Yeah. And I think I'm going to say possibly the Pinnacle as well.
The Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Blank versus blank will be match of the year in WWE.
Oh. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, I think.
Reigns versus Lesnar. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blank versus blank will be match of the year in AEW.
Oh. Wow. I think I'd love to see Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole. I know they're together, but if something happens with the Elite, I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Blank will be the NXT champion in 2022.
Braun Breaker, I think.
Yeah.
Honest.
Okay. Blank and blank will be moved from NXT to the main roster.
Ooh. Dexter Lumis. And yeah, I think Indy Hartwell as well, actually. Yeah.
Lumis and Hartwell. Okay. Will they be a huge success or a failure?
I think it'll be a failure.
A failure.
They'll have a good reputation.
Okay. Right. Okay. Next one. Blank will be the women's champion in WWE.
I really hope Liv Morgan. I really, really hope Liv Morgan.
Okay. Blank will be the women's champion in AEW.
Yeah, I'm happy with the one we've got already. So,
So you're going to keep it as Britt
Becky, yeah.
Okay.
She can keep it for eternity.
Okay. Blank will retire from wrestling.
I hope Goldberg. I really hope Goldberg.
Goldberg, okay. The men's Money in the Bank winner will be...
Oh, really good one. Really, really good one. Omos.
Omos, okay.
Yeah.
Right. The women's Money in the Bank winner will be...
I think it'll be Carmella.
Carmella.
Yeah, I know she's won it before, but I think they're starting to put in hints of doing something with her.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, the last one. WWE will be bought by
Disney.
Disney. Interesting.
Wrestling guy and chairman of the board. No.
Interesting. Right. Okay. Thank you, Wrestling Guy, for your feedback
No
on there. That's
problem.
some interesting information there. We're going to take that back to the future now. We're going to get that analysed. Your answers could potentially save wrestling for 2022. Let's see what
Maybe.
happens. But thanks for that.
Yeah.
I must away.
Nice. Bye. Okay. I think before any more strange surprises happen, that's going to be a great time to end the video. So thank you very much for watching. Drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.